Haley, I don't know if you know this, but Hansen's disease? Leprosy. Did you know that?
I did not.
Yeah, that's something my dad was very proud to tell us all years back. I remember when I was little and first hearing that we had a disease named after us. A little bummed that it was leprosy.
Wow.
But anyway, I have a reason for that.
Wow.
You're listening to the Repcolite Home Improvement Show, sponsored by Benjamin Moore, who's always happy to affix their name as a sponsor to our show. Anyway, I'm Dan Hansen.
I'm Haley Johnson.
And we're here talking about, I started talking about Hansen's disease, leprosy. And I have a tongue-in-cheek reason for bringing this up. I thought we had it.
What?
Hilarious, I know. No, bloody noses, chapped lips, all kinds of skin problems. I thought either it's leprosy or maybe we need to get a humidifier. Since I am always calm, cool, and collected in my thinking, I opted to get the humidifier first, and turns out that's what it was. So breathe a sigh of relief. No, humidifiers, they do a huge service to our homes.
Oh, yeah. I think they're highly underrated. I got a humidifier in my bedroom a couple years ago because I deal with a lot of eczema and dry skin. So does my husband. Not leprosy. There's a difference. And yeah, a humidifier has really helped a lot.
Yeah, it licked that problem too. Well, that's probably... Well, figuratively, I guess, in a way.
I mean,
it's almost like saliva. Anyway, if you're not aware and you don't have a humidifier,
right.
there are some things you should realize that, if you're waking up with a sore, itchy throat every morning.
Dry
eyes, coughing, bloody noses, static. You get out of your chair, you slide across the room to change the channel. Nobody does that anymore because we've got remote controls. But if you go off, to get a snack, that's more likely, and you touch the cupboard door and you get a pop, it's probably because the air is too dry.
My cat Burger always gets shocked in the living room because we don't have a humidifier in that room, and we've got big, it's an old house. We've got these giant vents blasting hot air. And every time I get up to pet the cat, he gets a shock during the winter. It's
Does he
crazy.
Feel it?
Oh, yeah. I mean, he has to. He's getting trained not to get pet.
Wow. I like that. Anyway, I don't like that. I don't endorse that.
No. Don't endorse shocking
No,
cats.
not at all.
Get a humidifier.
Anyway, there's so many things that it will solve or can solve.
Yes.
One of those things is even guitar problems. And that's honestly what got me down this whole trail in the first place, and we'll get to that. But let's talk about a few of the things that humidifiers will help.
Right.
And then I made a purchase, and it's been working out so well, I want to brag about it, but kind of, give you maybe a review, a mini review,
I would
a recommendation
say a mini review
about a system that I've got that's working so well. So let's talk about some of the things that humidifiers will do. Here's a really fun one right off the bat. Since we started talking about diseases,
okay, good.
Let's talk about more diseases. Bacteria and viruses cannot travel as well in moist air. So think about that.
That's very interesting.
Really interesting. There's a study from 2013, and it turns out that increasing humidity levels to 43% or higher will substantially minimize the capability of airborne viruses to cause illness.
Well, I guess that makes sense. I mean, they sell those Vicks vapor humidifiers. When you're sick, you're supposed to put one of those in your room.
Yeah, I thought it was just to help you breathe, but... Who knows what exactly it's doing? But for the numbers people, because there are numbers people out there, even on a Saturday morning, they want to know the statistics.
Yes.
Give me the stats.
Tell me the numbers, Dan.
Well, I can. So over a span of 60 minutes in this test, that's the time they were running these particular tests, a virus was between 70 and 77% effective in environments of less than 23% humidity.
Oh, wow.
So if the relative humidity in the room was less than 23%, the virus was 70 to 77% effective. Now, in the same rooms, for the same time frame, when the relative humidity was bumped up to 43% or higher, the virus was only between 14 and 22% effective.
Jeez,
so
what a difference.
Huge difference.
That's kind of crazy.
Yeah. So anyway, it's all about
Forget washing your hands. Just get a humidifier.
Right. It all spreads in the air.
Joke.
And the yuck can't spread quickly that way.
Yeah. No, that's very interesting.
Yeah. So
I wouldn't have thought it would be such a dramatic difference. 77 to 14.
Exactly.
That's huge.
You heard it here on the Repcolite Home Improvement Show. And we're believing an article that we read online.
Yes, thank you, Dan.
If we're wrong, that's not my fault. All right, another thing it will do, moisturize dry skin. So before you rush off to the leper doctors,
the leper doctor,
consider
see a dermatologist or something.
Yeah. I don't know how it works anymore. My real only familiarity with leprosy is from Bible stories, so I'm not really sure how it plays out in the modern world. Anyway, dry air sucks all the moisture out of our skin. Just pull it together, Haley. We're professionals here. And it leads to chapped lips and dry, flaking skin, even premature aging.
Well, that's...
Nobody wants that.
For the vein.
Yeah, I want to stay young and...
supple.
Shiny. Supple. My skin is smooth like a baby's bottom. And it's because I've got a humidifier. Humidifiers will help with that. If you
even
want...
like bloody noses, too. Like, that's something that I deal with during the winter time is, like, just breathing through my nose at night and then waking up with...
That's why I mouth breathe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Anyway, it's going to help me with that, too. You'll sleep better if you've got a humidifier, and you're going to feel better. So if you do sleep with your mouth open, and honestly, I do want to talk about this. I'm not going to get into it now, but I ran into an article about taping your mouth shut.
People are doing that, yeah.
Yeah, for sleeping. People have wanted to tape my mouth shut during the waking hours. Nobody suggested that I do that while I'm sleeping. We're going to talk about if that's a good idea or not. Spoiler, it's not. But we'll get to that later. But if you do sleep with your mouth open on accident, it just happens, it can help. And it will not just get you better sleep, but it makes you feel better. Your throat isn't always scratchy all day long. All of that is good. It protects furniture. You know,
I mean, wood getting dried out, it starts cracking, glue comes apart.
And guitars. And that's what got me started on this whole thing. We've got guitars that I've been noticing I'm really struggling to keep them in tune. And stuff like that. I start doing a little digging. I had already known some of this.
Sure.
But, you know, I hadn't dug into it as deeply as I should have.
Well, and you just got a really expensive guitar, so now you care.
For me, it was very expensive. It's not expensive for a lot of people, but for me, I was really pushing it. And yeah, it scared me. All the things I need to do. There's all kinds of stuff that can go wrong. The wood can crack. Glue joints can separate. It can be a nightmare to fix. All of that. So you've got to get a humidifier for the guitar. Now, guitars have all these they're like little personal humidifiers. They'll fit in there, and you can use those that way. And I'm sure those work just fine. The people at the stores that I was talking to recommended just skip those and go straight to a regular room dehumidifier if you've got a space that you're using for your guitars, which we do. So anyway, all of those reasons, you know, the potential leprosy, and having the good guitars, the diseases,
skin dryness.
We wanted a humidifier. So my family dug into it and we bought one and put it in. And I've had a ton of great fun with this. I mean, as much fun as you can have with a humidifier.
Yeah, I've got a little bit of like humidifier envy, to be honest with you, because I've got a humidifier, but it is not like yours.
Well, I'm going to give you all the info you need. Now, if you're going to be jumping into getting a humidifier, you've got one, but maybe other people are thinking that, you know, I want to solve some of these problems and jump in. I've got a recommendation. I'm going to first give you some basic things to keep in mind. First off, you got to make sure that what you're buying is big enough for the room that you've got.
Yeah, that's crucial.
All of them will tell you how big a space they're covering. Of course, pretty basic. Make sure you do that. Consider how it's filled. This is another thing to think about. I had one that was bottom filled.
Yeah.
Nothing that's bottom filled is great. Not a big fan of that.
Off and fill it. Yeah.
Yeah, it was messy because it would always drip all the way back. The one I have now is top filled, so I just have to haul a little pitcher in there and pour it. I like that a lot better. Think about how well it breaks apart for cleaning, because you do have to clean these.
Right, or like change the filter. That's important.
Definitely look into that, and then read reviews. You know, there's a lot of reviews out there that will help you figure out what you need. Now, for me, I ended up buying a Govee, Govee, Govee Smart Wi-Fi humidifier. And then I bought also a Govee Smart hygrometer. Now, hygrometer is just something that's going to measure the temperature, and then it also measures primarily humidity, right? I did a fair amount of research, and these two for my space seemed like the best bet. The whole expense, putting both together, was about $70, so not bad.
Okay, not bad if you're buying two separate things like that.
Right. Now, it is for a smaller room. You know, the one that I bought will cover about 160 square foot.
Okay.
That was the room that I had. And I think the humidifier itself was $60. The hygrometer was another $10.
All right. Not terrible.
Anyway, I got them because they can be paired. Now, it's very interesting, and it's something that's a little bit, you wouldn't expect it. I expected that when I buy one, I could set a smart one.
Right.
I could set a certain humidity, and it will just maintain that, like a furnace maintains. It turns out a lot of them don't do that.
Wow.
If they've got the hygrometer built into it, it will achieve a certain humidity.
Sure.
But sometimes you got to turn it on to do that. It will maybe automatically turn itself off, but you've got to automate. It's not the smartest. It's kind of smart, but not brilliant.
Right.
Now, when I bought these two, they pair together, and now I can do exactly what I wanted. I set a target humidity,
right,
and it will turn itself on and turn itself off.
And it just maintains that level that you want.
It maintains it, right within about a 2% up or down, plus or minus kind of a range.
I mean, that seems like what you want. If we talked about, that ideal humidity being around 43%, how do I know what I've got going on?
Right.
And how do I maintain that? I mean, this does it all for you.
Right. Now, like I said, a lot of them will tell you what it's at, because they've got built-in hygrometers, and it will sense where it's at. But it doesn't turn itself on and it doesn't turn itself off necessarily.
Built in too. I mean, does it give you a different or inaccurate reading because it's directly next to where the water is coming out of the machine?
That's the other thing I liked about this system is that I can put the hygrometer on the other side of the room.
Yeah.
So it's measuring the air over there,
right,
not at the machine itself where it's kicking out the moisture.
Accurate.
It seems like I'm going to get a better reading. I've been going for about 3 weeks now with this. And yeah, for 3 weeks, that humidity level in the room has been rock steady at what I wanted it to be at.
That's
when
really
I
impressive.
Started, I think the room humidity was around 17%.
Okay.
So yes, my guitars, hopefully they've survived.
Yeah.
But I think we're good to go now. I'll put links in the show notes for the model that I bought if you want to check that out. Again, you got to make sure you're getting the right size for your room, all of those things. Do your research, find what's right for you. But it's really worked out well. The bigger point overall is just if you're struggling with any of the things we talked about earlier.
Yeah, especially this time of year. I mean, I think everyone deals with some of those things to some extent.
Yeah. A humidifier might solve those problems. Check it out. Now, all right, we're going to take a break. And for the Detroit listeners, we're going to be playing a Repco Light Rewind. So you're going to want to hang around for that. For the Grand Rapids listeners, you get news and all the stuff that happens on the bottom of the hour.
Woohoo!
So everybody's going to be excited. It's all great stuff coming up. And then when we're back, we'll be talking about how to choose bold colors without burning your eyes out.
Yes.
That's all coming up next. Stay tuned.